Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. Ryan Garcia proved me wrong. I knew he could fight. I knew he had speed. It didn't show up for Rolly. I didn't think it would show up for Barrios, but boy, oh boy. Didn't he look like the Ryan who fought Devin? Now, I'm not here to talk no conspiracy theories that suggest Ryan was on the cocktail. I'm going to say I guess his dad knew his son the best. And maybe Ryan should have remained with his dad all along. But all I'm going to tell you, in that first round, I was like, hey, yo, Ryan, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Because Ryan was putting the Victorville, California beans on Mario Barrios. Shit. Someone explain to me what was that. Now, you got to excuse me. This cough got better. But I was out there cutting grass and doing yard work. And it done mess my lungs up again, man. Hood Champion is no longer a spring chicken. Still out here, man. Find myself getting sick more and more. But not with headache and fever, just like, I just can't go do them goddamn Iron Man things I used to do, like, I just had to be careful. But anyway, what was that? Ryan Garcia did the business. But I'm going to tell you this. It was competitive now because Barrios started coming back, going to the body. But for Ryan, this was really built at his redemption fight. His attempt to reestablish some credibility, which he did that. And it's going to be a real test for him at welterweight. And I'm going to tell you right now, what was at stake for Ryan was image restoration, which he has now. Because he was testing, the VADA test and everything. And look, he passed everything with flying colors. As of right now, Ryan Garcia, in the clear, green light, go. Start thinking about the next fight. He had to prove his discipline. And he really had to silence the pad and melt down criticism. But for me, when it comes to Ryan, I can separate what I feel about him as a person opposed to how I feel as a fighter. And I think he did that. As long as nothing comes up with his ped testing, I think Ryan will be okay. Now, as far as the rounds, look, the early rounds was crazy. Ryan stayed composed, used that jab more than usual, didn't rush for a left hook. The right hand was there. That right hand, it was like death by 1,000 right hands. Barrios didn't know what to do. They didn't have a plan for that right hand. They were just expecting left hook, left hook, left hook. That right hand, and I got to give credit to Derek James for incorporating the right hand and for Ryan's dad to basically pick up where Derek James left off, to cultivate Ryan's right hand, and it showed up big time. Barrios was trying to box long. He looked cautious. It's just Ryan's speed. That speed was his speed is real. No matter what you think about him, Ryan, all that flash shit that he does, the speed is real. But Ryan did show some patience. He didn't get chaotic, but he was showing that speed, and he was showing aggression. He was very accurate. He was landing damn near everything he threw. Middle rounds 4 through 7, Garcia began, sitting on some shots. I saw him going to the body, going to the head, controlling distance with the footwork. And Barrios started to have some moments. He was landing some clean rights. He just couldn't maintain the pressure, and he was just getting hit too much. He was getting hit way too much, man. The momentum was still there with Ryan and tilting Ryan's way. Late rounds, Garcia slowed slightly. He didn't totally take his foot off the gas, but he did slow enough to where he was trying to protect his lead and pick his shots. Barrios was trying to rally, trying to get something going. He just couldn't close the distance consistently. He was going to the body. The bottom line is Ryan, his cleaner shots, and he just landed more. He dominated the fight. So Ryan won, of course. Now, the punch stats, these are some rough figures that I pulled up. Like punches landed, Garcia, 145 to 160, Barrios 115 to 130. Jabs, Ryan Garcia like 50, Barrios 35. Power punches landed, like Garcia had about 115. Barrios had around 75. And accuracy rate for Ryan Garcia was around 40%. And for Barrios was down around 30. In the body shots, Ryan landed about 33 and Barrios about 20. So those are all rough numbers, I didn't count them all. I'm just canvassing the internet for data to share with you. But the key takeaways here, Garcia, he just landed more, landed cleaner, controlled the pace. But the speed, speed kills. Ryan's speed was crazy. Makes you wonder what happened with Rolly. Makes you wonder. But Rolly is kind of awkward, but Rolly can fight. And he got power. That's probably what happened. But it was a very strategic game plan by his dad. And as a result, they had strategic success. Thanks to Ryan. Didn't overcommit. Didn't chase a knockout. Showed that ring IQ. Shot selection maturity. And he showed that, hey, this is why so many people have high expectations of me, for me. And I was able to come out here and make the people who believed in me, make them proud. And more importantly, make himself proud. And I like how he was staying defensively responsible. He didn't really gas that badly. He looked still, really good. And he didn't unravel inside the ring. But as far as his image, I'm telling you, fans are just sitting there watching him. I saw discipline. We saw calm. We saw less controversy inside the ring. Distrust is still there for Ryan Garcia, and it remains from the Ped situation. I don't think he'll ever get the public perception to favor him. I think it's going to always be split. But his supporters are going to say, hey, no matter what you think, he's back. He's a champion. Stop hating on him. But his critics are going to say, hey, yo, you, Mick Nicholas, hold your horses. Stop taking it to the stupid. One fight doesn't erase the past. So get out of here with that bullshit. And the limitations, as far as Barrios, were just exposed. Barrios been around too long. Fighting at 122, dominating at 140, doing the business. You know what I'm saying? Mario Barrios is a tough guy. I thought he would have been able to pull it out against Ryan, but Ryan he looked like the Ryan that fought Devin. I wasn't expecting to see that Ryan. I was not expecting to see that guy. But Barrios, he's made a lot of money. I think his last 5 fights were on pay-per-view cards. Either he was headlining or he was on the card. Barrios has made some money his last 5 fights, so Barrios is all right. I like him, man, but I'm going to tell you this. Ryan, to me, still gets hit too clean. His defense isn't the best. Still got to question his defense. The chin held up, but it wasn't really stress-tested. And against elite pressure fighters, risk remains, you know what I'm saying? But Ryan has just got them freakishly fast hounds, and he's got power, so you can never count him out in a fight. So I'm trying to see what's next for him. To me, it should be a unification. That's what I think. I mean, when I sit here and take a look at Ryan Garcia, where he's at now, I gotta be real with you. I'm thinking about this right here. This right here is what I'm thinking about. Make this a little bit smaller for you. I apologize. Right here. Look at that guy, Devin Haney. Now, when you come down here, you got Rolly, who's a WBA champion. Devin Haney, who's a WBO. Ryan Garcia is a WBC, and Lewis Crocker. I don't see what the problem is. You got Ryan can rematch Rolly. Ryan can fight Devin. And Lewis Crocker, I'm not sure what he's doing, but, there's some interesting matchups. And what's funny is, outside of Lewis Crocker, Devin, Ryan, and Rolly were all at 135, then 149, 147. How fun that would be to see them fight. Now, Conor Benn more than likely will get the opportunity to face Ryan. I think Ryan beats the shit out of Conor Benn. That's just my opinion, but we'll have to wait and see. And to be honest with you, I got mixed emotions on old Conor Benn after what he did to Eddie Hearn, but I don't blame Conor Benn for getting his money. I just think he should have showed. He's one guy that should have passed upon the money and stuck with his promoter, Eddie Hearn, even though they didn't have a contract in place. Eddie Hearn did way too much for that guy. Way too much for Conor Benn. But anyway, I think that's going to be maybe the next fight. And then we'll go from there. I think Ryan and Conor Ben. But that WBC welterweight path, big money fight for Ryan. Big names. I think Rolly's the biggest threat to him. An elite counter punch would be all right, but I think he and Dev, I think Devin doesn't want it. I'll be honest with you. I think Rolly would rematch him. I think Conor would fight him. But I just think Ryan beats Devin. I think he beats Conor. I think he's worried about Rolly's power. But the number one thing here is rematch Haney. Like, that's the fight everybody wants to see. Devin Haney needs to get his lick back. Fight Ryan. Fight Ryan. Fight Ryan. You know, for Haney, that's his redemption arc. For Ryan, that's his redemption arc. His business goal, public intrigue, that is a big fight. But the bigger money fight is if Gervonta Davis goes up to 147 to fight Ryan. You know, that rematch would be really interesting. Especially because Ryan can't say I was weight drained. There was no weight clause at 147. Then that means Gervonta hasn't come up. Be an interesting fight. Give Gervonta a chance to become a champion at another weight division. But I'll just say at 147, Ryan looks stronger. His chin probably benefits from being well hydrated. And again, the weight cut is not that brutal. So Ryan proved a lot. Got to give him credit. Can fight without chaos, can stick to the plan. Mental discipline equals a real win. And, you know, maybe father knows best. And I think a lot of people agree because I'm watching the fans and I think they share the same sentiment. They're just like, yo, he looks matured. Barrios was a gatekeeper. Those are the haters. But fans like me who are neutral, they say, yo, he's solid. Nothing too spectacular. The speed is spectacular. But Ryan just showed that he no matter who he's in the ring with, he has a chance. Because he has that speed and he does have some power. So we'll see what happens, man. Ryan is relevant, okay? Doors have opened up for him again. And if he would have lost, it would have closed title paths and damaged credibility permanently. So the final verdict's not a highlight reel KO, but career-saving performance, professional win, strategic maturity, and Ryan Garcia, he's back in the boxing conversations, and now the guy who should have always been a champion, according to most, is a champion and a WBC champion. And it's a pretty big deal. Anyway, do you think he silenced the haters, or you think that fight was set up for him to win? I think he silenced some haters, but he's going to always have critics because they can't separate what they think about him as an individual and him as a boxer. I can. He just said too much in the rants that he went on the last couple of years about race and religion and George Floyd. Too much for me to really care for that dude as a person. But for him as a fighter, oh yeah, a lot of respect for him. Takes a lot of discipline to do what these guys do, and for him to push through that adversity, and basically the whole boxing community just turned their back on him. Pretty impressive damn win. Anyway, keep cool. He's back. Bring on Devin. That's what I think. In the breeze.